Aaron Antis on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show. We are interviewing Ram Charan. This guy's the CEO advisor. He's a CEO advisor. He advises CEOs, and he's a #1 New York Times best-selling author. And he joins us today, Aaron, to talk about his new book, which is called Rethinking Competitive Advantage: New Rules for the Digital Age. Aaron, why does everybody need to listen to today's edition of the Thrive Time Show?
Well, because Ram is an incredibly accomplished man. He's written numerous books with millions of downloads and purchases, and he is about the smartest guy I think you and I have talked to in a very long time, other than the fact that he thinks my name is James.
If you're listening right now and you want to make your workflow more efficient, you want to make your company more efficient, you want to become more profitable and more competitive, today is the show for you. It's our interview with Ram Charan, the author of Rethinking Competitive Advantage: New Rules for the Digital Age. My name is Clay Clark. You're listening to the Thrive Time Show.
And I'm James.
On your radio and podcast.
Wait, I thought I was James.
You're James. That's Aaron Antis right here on the Thrive Time Show. On your radio and podcast download.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are interviewing the man, the myth, and the legend. This guy, folks, let me tell you, he's a New York Times best-selling author. He's a CEO advisor, and he's written a new book called Rethinking Competitive Advantage: New Rules for the Digital Age. Ram, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Wonderful. Thank you. Glad to be on the show.
Now, Ram, there's a debate going on in the office here about the correct pronunciation of your last name. You know, you got some people going, oh, it's Ram Charan. Some people go, no, it's Ram, because we're from Oklahoma. Some people want to say, no, it's Ram Charan. You know, and so, Ram, how do you prefer to be addressed? Would you prefer Ram Charan? Or do you prefer what's the proper pronunciation that you want us to use today?
In Australia, they call me Charan. In India, they call me Charan. In American, they call it Charan.
Charan.
You choose.
Ram Charan. Okay. Ram, do you speak Oklahoman?
No, but I'm close to Texas.
Okay. All right. I respect that. I respect that. Now,
Yes.
You've had a legendary career, and you certainly don't need to sell your bio to me, but a lot of our listeners are not familiar with your background. Could you share with us, what was your background previous to writing this book?
Very simple. A shoe shop in a town in India. Mechanical engineering in the MIT of India. 4 years full-time work in Australia. Harvard MBA, doctoral, and teaching on the faculty. And for 45 years, working with CEOs on the boards in China, in Brazil, in India, in Australia, in Japan, America, and obviously Canada and Mexico.
Wow. So you started from the bottom. You worked your way up. What was your first moment where you thought you were gaining some traction, where you thought, okay, I actually maybe know what I'm doing here?
No, I think I began to learn at the age of 10 that the real learning of business is at the corner grocery store or in the street vendor. After that, it is all scaling up. So I was learning the business very confident about the age of 12, 13 that I learned in the shoe shop. And I just kept honing in, learning engineering, applying to larger and larger companies. It is exactly the same. What is different is the scale and complexity. So I'm able to handle a large number of industries, a large number of companies with large number of CEOs.
So what was the moment where you had to maybe pinch yourself or slap yourself or notify yourself that you were, you said, man, I can't believe how much success I'm having. Did you ever have that moment where you thought, whoa, it's working?
No. Clay, success is never final. You celebrate when you have done something useful, something executed. Then you go to the next level, go to the next level. And this way, the juice of life is keep doubling your capacity every 3 years. That is success.
Okay, well said. Well, okay. So let's talk about your new book. What inspired you to write your new book, Rethinking Competitive Advantage: New Rules for the Competitive Age?
I began to analyze Amazon starting around 2013. And when I began to look into it, and I wrote a book on it, Amazon Management System, I realized that Amazon has developed a new way of money making that will sustain, and he has a new competitive advantage. Then I began to see Satya Nadella doing it in Microsoft. Excuse me. And then I began to see Adobe doing it. And then I began to see Google doing it. I said it's a new game, new competitive advantage. And if the legacy companies don't pay attention to it, they will be barbecued. Retailing has shown that very clearly. That how many retailing, including book publishing, borders, have been barbecued. What has happened to Barnes and Nobles? 2/3 of the stores are gone. So that's how this inspiration came that I should start learning about the new competitive advantage in the digital age with new principles, new mindset, and those who don't do, they will perish. If you look at year 2000 and you look at the Dow Jones 30, look at how many of them have disappeared in 20 years. This will happen again.
Ram, I got to ask you this, maybe an old school nostalgic question for you. And Aaron Antis, maybe you would share my feeling behind this.
Yeah.
I realize that we all have to adapt to continue winning. But Ram, isn't there a part of you that misses Blockbuster Video? Just a little bit? Just a little?
I know it is in the book.
It's in the book.
Don't you miss? Do you miss Blockbuster? I mean, personally, I just on a personal. Don't you miss going in there and getting a big old bucket of popcorn and reserving a video and putting a little money down to hold the new release before
and being kind and rewinding?
Did you remember? Did you miss that whole thing? The late fees?
No. The key point is human beings are very flexible, and they love when they see new convenience. There's a new convenience in Netflix. So they will still get the popcorn. They will socialize differently in different places. And they don't have to do all those things they used to do because convenience is a major experience for all human beings.
Except for Clay.
Ram, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to do to celebrate this event, this interview. What I should do is ship Ram a VCR. And not send the manual and see if he can program, if he can change the clock so it doesn't flash 12. Ram, did you ever figure out how to set the alarm on the VCR to not flash 12?
No, I'm not. I don't use it.
That's fair.
I'm very simple. In my work, I travel pre-COVID 355 days a year.
Wow.
As I mentioned, I'm across the globe every single day somewhere except the COVID period. So I don't need all those things. I'm a very simple traveler.
So what stuff is in your new book? What are some practical, you mentioned Blockbuster. What are maybe some of the case studies, some of the stories our readers can expect, our listeners and the readers of your book, what can they expect to find in the new book, Rethinking Competitive Advantage?
The key thing, every business person, bar none, must come to terms that we develop our strategies and economy on the basis of mass production, mass marketing, and mass advertising. Today, it is personalization. Each customer is unique, wants to be served in a different way, and want to be served now. Cheaper, faster, more convenient. This is a sea change. Everybody must learn that. You cannot do this without the use of software and machine learning. They are commoditized, they're cheaply available, they're very variable cost. Learn it, dream a new future. You can create your market value 10 times, 100 times. You see legacy companies like Target, Home Depot, Walmart, they're coming through, they're getting it. They're coming through 17, 18 years. later than Amazon. It's okay. It's never too late. Learn about that. Customer first. Learn about the customer experience and changes. And now, post COVID, learn about each employee. Two are the two are the sides of one coin. And without the employees and technology, you are not going to win. You got to be going and observing consumers. And then we show that software, once you install it, you increase the revenues, but your margin increases exponentially. That's why you see this $1 trillion market value creation of these companies that are 20 years old. Amazon, 20 years old, roughly. Apple, Steve Jobs came back in 1997. Company was totally broke. So it is about 23 years. He survived. He made the company live from almost zero base to towards 2 trillion in market value. This is the new game. We should ride this train, ride this wave. And it is not a rocket science.
Ram, we've got James in the studio here. He's an attorney.
Hi, Ram.
James DiCristofaro, he's an attorney. We have Aaron Antis, who runs Oklahoma's largest home building company. And we have Derek Sisney, who's a business consultant here. And we like to do kind of a round the horn, round table discussion. The table's not round, but we like to make it a round table discussion.
We're sitting in a circle, though.
We're sitting in a circle around a square, a rectangular table where there is a circular
Aaron just moved,
desk
though,
at
so
the
now I
end.
think yeah.
I love to learn my two colleagues here. They are very good. So we should discuss it. Discussion creates new ideas, new problem definition, new issues. That's the juice of life.
James, we have 30 seconds on the clock for a rapid fire question. We'll go to Aaron Antis first, then we'll go to you second. All right. So Aaron Antis, what question do you have for Ram Charan?
Well, first of all, thank you for writing this book. I'm actually excited to be able to read this. So when does it come out, or has it come out already?
It came out last month.
Last month. Okay, so I can go purchase it now. This is the first time.
Right away, you can download as well.
Okay, excellent. And so was there something specifically, like someone that you had in mind, or a group of people that you had in mind that you were writing the book for, or was there a certain event that happened in your life? Like, what triggered you wanting to share this information with the world?
Yeah. So first point, I want you to know that by this time, I have written 29 books.
Okay.
4 bestsellers.
Wow.
Execution, 4 million copies.
Wow.
Our CEO wants you to know 1 million copies. So very wide readership across the globe.
Yeah.
Hundreds of companies that I've worked for. So I have been watching all the time. So what is the new topic the people will need? Why will they need? So I would talk to a CEO almost every day, somewhere in the world. My day starts in the morning at 6 a.m. I get up at 4:30, and I may be talking to Hong Kong, Bangkok. I may be talking to Shanghai, and so I may be talking to London. So you learn what is new, what are the new issues, where we make a contribution. My mission in life has been whatever I write, I teach, I consult, it has to be useful to the practitioners. So I begin to see the progress of Amazon, and I immediately realized, as I began to analyze in 2013, they have a money-making model unheard of before in anywhere in the world in large companies. And that's what got me going.
Yeah, that triggered the excitement about a new direction to go in. The reason I'm asking about it, when you brought that up earlier and you said about Amazon and creating a new business model, I work in the home building world, and we build hundreds of homes here in the state of Oklahoma. And the home building industry is in, I was talking with someone earlier today saying 20 years ago, we built homes exactly the same way that we build them today. The technology really has not changed. It is one of the slowest moving industries to change technology. What do you think there's other industries that are similar to ours. What do you think, is a way that somebody can take the information from what Amazon has done and apply it into a completely different industry that has a very slow turn of technology. It's not like I'm in the cell phone industry where the technology is changing on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. I'm in an industry that has a 50-year rollover in technology. So how would you apply maybe some of the principles or ideas from your book to an industry that maybe is a slower technology turn like home building?
Okay, James, I'm on the board of a company called Nexii, Nexii. It's actually operational.
Mhm.
We are building using new technology. The Starbucks stores in less than 1/3 of the time and 1/3 of the cost. We're going to build the whole America that way. We're going with Marriott to do that. We are using all these technologies. We're going to franchise across the globe. We will use the technology and machine learning to have the contracts information flow and how the contractors will do the things in less than 1/3 of the time. I've applied this technology in China. I give you one which is producing at 10,000 apartments a year. And there we use the technology to cut the cycle time by a third. And here we are able to manage the apartments. We're using machine learning, creating additional maintenance services and providing additional services in the apartments. The one that I was demonstrated by the CEO of this company, he brought his team together for a day and said from the time the executive committee authorized to buy the land, and by the time you did actually get the land, how long does it take, how many iterations? They showed 26 iterations. They plotted in front of me. The CEO who came from the army, he was experts in algorithms. He stood up and cut that into six steps and cut the time by 2/3. This is here. This was 5 years ago. So we need to look at your business and we say the whole economy will be digital in 10 years. We should ride the wave and figure out how you improve the customer side of it. How do you improve the cycle time? And how would you cut the cost? So I have a group working in China in real estate. From the time they get the land and by the time they finish it, they have done all the work of remapping it, proof of concept, to cut the whole cycle time by 2/3.
Wow, that's impressive.
Ram,
It is here.
Yeah.
Ram, you are a king of efficiency, my friend. And if people want to buy your new book, where can they go to pick it up?
Amazon, download.
Amazon download. And again, the title of the book, for anybody just now tuning in, I know sometimes people hop in the car with their significant other or brother, folks. The new title of this book is Rethinking Competitive Advantage, New Rules for the Digital Age. Derek, we have time for one more rapid-fire question here for Ram Charan. What question do you have for him about his new book, Rethinking Competitive Advantage?
Yeah, so in your you actually talk about that you get to meet with, you chat with all these CEOs and things like that. What is one thing that we can all take away from your discussions with them that we can actually apply to either our business or our lives?
Yeah. One thing to take away, which we have abandoned. You run the business for the customer, and you run on the basis of cash, not on the basis of earnings per share. Cash is cash unless there is a fraud. Earnings per share is discretionary, and it makes the life very complex. Jeff Bezos manages Amazon on cash per share. Unless you recast his statement, which are for legal purposes, into cash, you will never know the truth. If you don't own the cash, this is one of the 5 heavy cash machines on the planet. And cash does not burn holes in your pocket. This is one thing you take. The oldest stuff is dead. You learn how to cut cycle time, how to please the customer and employees, and generate a ton of cash. Apple has cash, same thing. Microsoft has cash, same thing. Target is getting cash, same thing. Home Depot getting cash. They got the religion. It is a new world starting 1997.
All right, folks, that's Ram Charan. The new book is Rethinking Competitive Advantage. Awesome. Ram, thank you for joining us, my friend. You are an absolute icon and a living legend. We appreciate you joining us, and we hopefully we can have you on the show again in the future.
Thank you, Clay. Thank you, James. Dick. Very much so. You're great. Your questions are great. Let us have the benefit for the audience.
Hey, take care, brother. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!